Hi, I will start the reverse engineering of the electronic boards of this turn and slip indicator. I will start with this board here with two op-amps. I will make a zoom on this one. So we have one dual op-amps here, 747, and this one is a classic one, 741. There are several wires connected to this board. Okay. So you can see that this blue wire, make a zoom out. So we can see that this blue wire is connected to the potentiometer here. The potentiometer is also connected to this transparent wire here, which is also on this board, and the other one is a black and white. So black and white, it is this one, is also connected to this board. Okay. Actually, there are only on the front panel these three wires. All the remaining wires are connected on the other board on the wire connector. Okay, so let's start. I will start to place the op-amps. So I made a specific page of stickers for the dual op-amp. It is a classic part that we find in several instruments. So I will place, so this is this one, I will place this part here, for example. The other one, I will do it manually. I have this the pin out here. So I will put this part here. The first board is finished. It is not very clear. Obviously we have an amplifier with three stages. So the first one is here with a gain of 20, which is a ratio with this feedback resistor of 1 meg and this resistor of 51k. You have 1 meg also here to compensate the bias current of this op-amp. And we have an AC coupling at the input of this amplifier. The output amplifier is fed to another amplifier here with a gain of -5 or something like that. And the output of this amplifier is connected to the rear connector. And then we have another amplifier with a gain of -1, and the output is also connected to the rear connector. So this is the compensation of the offset of this op-amp. And the input of this amplifier is this point. So we find an adjustment here. Okay, so you have the capacitor also from this point to the ground. And this potentiometer is connected to these resistors and to these diodes here. And these diodes are connected to the transformer of this device. So this seems weird. And we have also this resistor network and capacitor here. So this point is connected to the rear connector also. So you have a decoupling capacitor here. And the input here is connected to the trim potentiometer in the front panel here. So this potentiometer here. This potentiometer is connected between -V and +V, which are the power supplies of this board. the power supplies are realized with these Zener diodes here. Plus V and minus V, maybe plus or minus 12 volt or something like that. So the positive voltage probably comes from the 28 volt input here, and the negative voltage comes from this the transformer with the middle point connected to ground and rectified with these two diodes here. So the whipper on this potentiometer, we have a DC value which can be set between minus V and plus V. So we have a filter here with this capacitor. So this permits to adjust the zero probably for these two outputs here. So I will do the reverse engineering of this board here. Because at this time I don't know where the sensor, which is here, is connected. So if we follow the wires, the sensor is connected to this board. So I will see. So we have on this board, we have the dual GK flip-flop and one timer 555. Probably the 555 is used as a clock generator, and the dual GK flip-flop permits to generate two square signals, and this permits to drive the AC motor of the gyroscope. This is a complete schematic of this turn and slip indicator. There are two separate functions in this indicator. The main function on the top here concerns the gyroscope. So on the left here we find an astable which delivers the frequency of 560 Hz. Then we find a divider by 2 which uses this flip-flop. So on the outputs of this flip-flop we have two complementary signals with a frequency of 280 Hz here. And then we find a power stage in order to drive the motor here. So first stage is a collector common in order to have enough current to drive the bases of these power transistors here. And then we find a detector of the power supply using this simple comparator. The emitter of this transistor is connected to plus 5 volt power supply. So when the base voltage here is above 5.6 volt or something like that, this transistor will turn on, and this will activate the gyro flag here. This is the flag here on the right. And the plus 5 volt is generated using this Zener diode here. On the bottom of this page, we find the circuits for the measurement. So first we have this switched mode power supply, which uses these two transistors and cross-coupling capacitors here. And the frequency of this thing is synchronized to the first oscillator here using this capacitor and this resistor here. And then we find a negative power supply here. Here you find the sensor. So this is the LVDT sensor we find here. We have already discussed. The excitation coil is connected to one secondary of this transformer. So at this point we have an AC voltage which depends on the position of the needle here. So when this metallic piece here is centered, we have 0 AC voltage at this point. Otherwise we will have a signal which is in phase or out of phase regarding this excitation voltage here. And we find also another secondary voltage here with the middle point. The middle point is connected to the measurement coil. So when the needle is centered, here we have 0 volt here, and then at this point and at this point we have two voltages with opposite phases. Then at this point we have a 0 volt because everything is symmetrical. But if there is a voltage which is either in phase or out of phase, there will be a different AC voltage at this point and at this point. So for example, if the measurement voltage is in phase regarding this secondary, there will be an AC voltage here which will be higher than this one, and then the voltage at this point will be positive. And in the other direction, if the voltage here is out of phase, the amplitude of this voltage will be higher than this one, and the output voltage here will be negative. So at this point we have a DC signal which can be negative or positive depending on the position of this metallic core here. So this capacitor permits to measure only the evolution of the turn of the aircraft, and then we find an amplifier with a gain of 20 or something like that, and then we find another amplifier with a gain of 5 and with an adjustment of the offset, and this adjustment is done by this knob here, which is called trim. And the output of this amplifier is fed to the rear connector. So we have at the output here two signals with opposite signs. And there is also another flag which is called wire D. This is the second flag here, this one. And this flag is activated when there is a voltage here, a supply voltage, because the second circuit here is supplied using another voltage which is available at pin 14 and 15, so you have to supply also this circuit. So this was probably designed in order to limit the power consumption when the measurement circuit is not used. So you can connect on pin 14 or 15 directly the power supply. Otherwise, there is also a relay. You can activate the measurement circuit using another input here, pin 7 or 8, in order to activate the relay. In this case, if you connect the pin 10 to plus 28 volt, you will have the activation of the measurement circuit using the command of the coil of the relay. So we can perform some tests on this instrument. So we have connected an oscilloscope. I will change the orientation of the camera. So we turn on the power supply in order to activate this indicator. So we can first make a measurement, for example, of the measurement signal at this point. So we need to trigger the oscilloscope with a reference signal. So we trigger the oscilloscope, for example, with one of these two signals here. So we trigger the oscilloscope on the second channel of the oscilloscope. Okay, so this is a reference signal. So now we'll connect the first channel to the measurement signal, which is the output of the LVDT sensor. So we directly connect to the sensor itself here. Okay, so we have something close to 0 because we are centered. Okay, so you can see that depending on the position, we have a signal which is in phase here or in opposite phase in the other direction. And when the needle is centered, this voltage will return to 0. Okay, now we can, for example, make a measurement on the signal on this point and on this point separately. So this is the anode and cathode of the diodes. So we still have one which is connected to the cathode, so we still have in green this voltage. So I will add the other one, the oscilloscope. Okay, so we can see that when one voltage increases, the second one decreases. And now we can sense the DC voltage across this capacitor here. Okay, so this is this point. So we can see that we have a DC voltage which depends on the position of the gyro. And then we can measure the output of the first amplifier, pin 10 of the first op-amp here. And here we can see that we have this AC coupling, which permits to measure only a variation of the turn of the aircraft. You can reduce the time base also. You can measure also the output of the second amplifier, pin 12, pin 12 or pin 10. You can adjust the offset of this output using this knob. This is very sensitive because you have a high gain. Okay, so this was a complete teardown and study and test of this turn and slip indicator. So thank you for watching this video. Bye bye.